This monkey was sitting on a branch right above the water when a boater stopped right beside him. So the monkey started splashing the man in hopes that he would play with him, and the man thought this was super funny, so he did. Subscribe if this was wholesome. This dog learned how to ride a one wheel, so him and his owner ride around the city in their free time. Subscribe if you would go ride with them. This dog was scared of escalators, so her owner picked her up and carried her down them. Subscribe if this was wholesome. This puppy is so innocent and pure because when he got bored in his mom's office, he found a very smart way to keep himself entertained. Subscribe if you would play with him. This 73-year-old woman is probably more athletic than you because she won a 50-inch TV from a jump rope competition, but she wanted to show off her skills some more after. So she started doing tricks while carrying the TV and literally was still better than everybody else. This dog has never seen snow before, but what he does next is so cute because when he finally gets enough courage to step in the snow, he starts running and jumping around. Subscribe if you would play with him. This woman went to a petting zoo and was hand feeding the animals. But what this moose does next is so funny because he tried to lick her just to get some food. Subscribe if this was wholesome. This girl had an animal hiding under her blankets, so she held an apple by its head so it would sniff it and come out. But after the pig got a whiff of it, he finally showed himself. He was so excited to get a treat that he gobbled this apple right up. Subscribe if this was wholesome. This puppy loves the water, and when they get a rainstorm and the streets flood, his owner does something so special for him because he built a special sled that floats just for the dog, and the owner attaches a rope to it and sprints down the street at full speed. But if he's not pulling the dog fast enough, he does this. Subscribe if this was wholesome. This puppy dressed up as a deer to try and make some new neighborhood friends, but he ruined his chances when he shook his head and the antlers fell off because it scared the deer, so the dog started to chase them. This dog was playing with the balloon when something scary happened because when he tried to get a hold of the balloon, it popped. He was so confused after this, but when he turned his head to try and find it, he seen another balloon and went and attacked it. This skier brings her dog on the slopes with her, and he loves the views, but watch how fast he pulls her down the hill. He does go off the trail sometimes, but subscribe if you think you could keep up with him. This dog is basically a human because when it has to walk up the stairs, it does this. Look at how many stairs it can go up without even falling down. What would you do if you seen this in public? These people are about to make history because they rolled one of the biggest snowballs in the world and they were pushing it off the bridge. But watch how satisfying it is when it hits the water. This raccoon was trying to stop his owner from leaving the house because they were taking the Christmas tree all the way to the trash can. This upset the raccoon because this tree was his favorite toy for multiple months in a row. But unfortunately, the raccoon is not strong enough to get the tree back, so subscribe if this was cute. This girl took a bite out of a gingerbread man right in front of his own brother. He was left in shock, but the baker seen this and made him walk away. Subscribe if you would do this too. This cat was being fed Cheetos by his owner, but what happens next will shock you, because as he was taking a lick, another furry friend came to say hi. The cat was not a fan of this, so he patted him away. These owners were bringing their dog to snowboard with them, but what happens next is crazy, because after they get loaded up on the lift, the dog sits there and enjoys the beautiful views. But as soon as they step foot on the ground, this happens. Subscribe if you could keep up. This video takes gambling to the next level, because the owners taught these dogs how to play poker. So as soon as the owners left, the dog sent a message out and met up and played a couple rounds. Look how properly they dressed up. Subscribe if this is cool. This is a game called Balloon Pop and it requires 2 people to play it. But if you want to win, you have to have some good hand-eye coordination because whoever pops the balloon first wins the entire game. So be sure you can shoot some straight lines. This bear was trying to steal this woman's purse, but the lady was a track star because as soon as she seen the bear running, she took off. But the bear was pretty fast himself, so he almost caught her. Subscribe if this would be scary. This dog loves playing with water bottles, so the owners did something super special for him. They collected tons of empty bottles throughout their house and put them in a large bowl. When the dog jumped inside, he was so happy that he didn't even know how to react, so he started biting every bottle around him. This farm owner was on his last seconds of life, and he requested that he gets to see his animals one last time. So his daughters brought him all the way to the farm, and the donkeys showed up to comfort him. Do you think the donkeys could sense what was happening? This snowboarder is about to change the world because he was gliding down the hill on one foot going around 90 miles per hour. But at the bottom there was a pool of water. So he hit a little jump and started to glide across. Do you think he's gonna make it all the way? Subscribe if this was cool. This man is a superhero because he created a new version of the superhuman push-up challenge, and it doesn't even look that hard, but wait until the end, because after he completes the push-up, he does this. How does this even make sense? This guy created the coolest video in the world because in a snowstorm, this man slid on a lake and he did 2 360s in a row. But right when he stopped, there was a carrot in front of him and he took a bite. This means that he does not carrot at all. This man created an automatic snowplow. The way it works is by riding on a train track that was screwed into his fence. It is strictly powered by the sun, so when a snowflake hits the sensor, it automatically uses the power and begins to clean off his fence. It was this dog's first time ever in the snow, and the owners noticed that he loved eating it. So they started to grab shovels full of snow and throw it up for their puppy. Look at how excited he is. Subscribe if this was wholesome. It was almost this dog's birthday, so the owner surprised her. But what he did next is crazy, because when the dog finally made it up the slide, she went down with the owner and had so much fun. But after a couple of minutes, she decided she wanted to bring her sisters. So the owner went in, grabbed them, and also brought a bunch of balls. But when the next dog slid down, this happened. Subscribe if you would do this. This guy lives in Texas and they just got snow for the first time ever. But nobody around sells sleds, so he had to make his own. Look at how far down he made it. But this little girl one-upped him by using an inflatable unicorn. This man was harvesting crops and putting them in a basket. But what happens next is so wholesome, because there was a rabbit sitting waiting for every crop to be put in there so he could eat it. But he couldn't keep up with the amount of plants being put inside. Subscribe if you think these bunnies are cute. This guy found Jack Sparrow running a marathon, so they made sure to give him a shot of a little special juice. Do you think it made Jack run better? This is a challenge called the Stone Run, and this man was trying to beat it. But when he started to go, a little girl ran intentionally in front of him. So instead of plowing her over, he turned and stayed on the path, because he kept on going for even longer, but once he finally lost his balance, he fell.
This girl is being chased, but it was by her pet goat. He was so excited to play with her that he started to hop, but when she turns around, the goat follows her again. Look how cute he is.
This mascot just showed the crowd why he's the best, because while at a game, he was walking through the stands and found a fan from the opposing team. So he pulled out a toilet paper gun and showed him why he should no longer support the Lakers. Subscribe if the Lakers are bad. This fan is about to break the glass at a hockey game because the ref made a terrible call on the team he supported. So the fan got upset and started to take his anger out on the glass where the ref was standing. Imagine if this dude actually had some muscles. This person is going to be the next Ninja Warrior, because from the time he was born until now, he has been training to be on the show one day. Watch the way he swings from bar to bar and wastes no time at all. But without the help of his dad, none of this would be possible, because his dad built this course in their backyard and hopes to help his son achieve his dreams. Do you think this kid has a chance at winning? There was a snake stuck inside of this table, but the old lady didn't know, because her daughters took her out to dinner just to scare her. But when she finally looked down and realized, she almost fainted. Subscribe if this was funny. This hippo is going to try and eat this pumpkin in one singular bite. His jaw is so strong that when he closes his mouth just a little bit, the pumpkin smashes under pressure. Do you think you could do this?
This dog loved skiing, so he jumped up onto the ski lift by himself. But after it turned the corner, his owner got on with him. They were matching outfits. Subscribe if this was wholesome.
These otters were playing in baths of ice, but what they do next is so cute, because they will pick up 2 ice cubes and smash them off of each other. And what they're trying to do is replicate cracking clams open like they are in the ocean. Subscribe if this was wholesome. This mascot created a challenge before the game. He pulled a fan from the stands to go against, and they both passed round 1 and 2. But after the mascot passed round 3, he did something that made it impossible for the fan to win, because the mascot came running with a full-sized wall with no holes straight at the fan. Subscribe if this was funny. This guy owns tons of bears as pets, but when he feeds them, he makes them work for it, because he wanted to teach his pets how to jump, but they're so smart that they started spinning in circles just to make him a little more impressed. Subscribe if you would give them some treats. This guy is a genius, because he figured out the fastest way to complete this puzzle. Nobody in the world has ever finished it this quickly, and it is known to be one of the only impossible puzzles in the world. But this random dude at the convention walked up and proved everybody wrong, because when he finishes it, he acts like nothing happened and just smiles and walks away. Subscribe if he was humble. There is something super dangerous inside of this truck, but you'll never guess what it is, because this guy was tying a rope to his handle so he could open the door from a distance and free the animal. But after he tied the knot, he pulled the rope and the door opened. A ginormous bear jumped out of his truck. Even Mother Nature get your pick Toyota. These people found one of the coolest places to surf because there was a tropical storm where they lived and it flooded a hill, which left the water running down at such a strong speed. So what they would do is start from the top and throw a surfboard down and do tricks the entire way till the bottom. This guy is going to change the world because he found a creative way to add cereal to the milk. But after he seen his girlfriend laugh at him, he did this. Subscribe if this was wholesome. This is an old game called Skittles. It was played many years ago as a form of entertainment. The objective of the game is to knock down as many pins as possible. To play it, you have to wind up the wooden Beyblade and let it rip. As it's spinning across the table, there are multiple different walls to help block the spinner, and once it stops spinning, that means the round's over. This is the hardest obstacle course ever, because the path is made out of plastic blocks that float on the water, which leads to them not being very stable. But this guy is extremely talented, because he is almost at the end of this course and hasn't even came close to falling. But when he gets close to the finish line, he does something crazy. This dog was about to have the best day of his life, because it started to rain super bad and it flooded the owner's backyard. But this led to the dog being super happy because the backyard was basically a pool, so he started to run and jump in excitement through the water, splashing away. This man is setting his living room up for his pet cow. He invites this pet inside once a week to watch a movie together, but once they sit down, the man brings a huge bowl of popcorn for them to share. But the cow's mom isn't a fan of this. She came in and ruined the movie night. Subscribe if you would do this. This is a game called Blow Ball. It starts by making everyone surround at a table and a ball is dropped in the middle. After the ball is dropped, the objective is to make it fall off the table. You can only do this by using your breath. So you should find the weakest blower and target them. This dog is basically a human because whenever he has to walk upstairs, he does this. Subscribe if this was cool.
This dad dressed up as an elf, but to make his daughter's day, he went to her school and picked her up. She was super embarrassed, but everyone around loved it. Subscribe if you would do this.
This puppy was playing outside, but these two butterflies came by and landed on his head. He looked so happy. Subscribe if this was beautiful.
This person is making a smoothie for his slow loris. He starts by adding a banana and kale to the cup, and the loris got so excited. Next, he added apples and was ready to mix. Once he was done, he poured himself a glass and his pet a glass. Subscribe if he is cute.
This fan was at a game watching his favorite football team, but when they scored, he started to cheer and accidentally broke the glass. But someone in the stands snitched on him and he got kicked out and banned forever. These dudes are about to hit a trick shot, because after he threw the frisbee through the funnel, the other man flipped the drink and caught it on top of the frisbee. But watch what happens next. Subscribe if this was funny. This man has 2 otters as a pet, and when it rains, they like to go outside and have some fun. The man tries his hardest to act like an otter. He runs, jumps, and dives through puddles just to help his otters get some energy out. Subscribe if this was wholesome. This man wanted to snowboard, but he had a slight problem. He lived in the desert, so he figured out a unique way to still use his snowboard even during the hot months. Subscribe if you would do this.